I was playing hockey for Halston Magpies, which is a hockey club in South Norfolk, and experienced a head injury towards the end of the game. It was, I would say, a fairly innocuous injury. I was reaching for an interception, the ball rebounded and hit me around the eye. And, I remember moving my head back very quickly, which may have caused a whiplash. And yeah, it was a nasty accident. I wouldn't say it was a very serious accident. I was probably had worse accidents or injuries playing hockey. I didn't black out. I didn't lose consciousness. There was quite a lot of blood, but nothing about the injury at the time would ever suggest that I would suffer the next few years of life-changing symptoms. The symptoms and the timeline of symptoms was really interesting and nothing that I'd ever read about or heard about before. The immediate symptom that I felt was of nausea and a bit of dizziness, which isn't uncommon with a head injury, that lasted for a few hours. But actually, that was about it. I remember going back to the hockey club that night and seeing friends, and I went to work the next day. In fact, I went to work the next 2 days, and although I didn't feel quite right, there was nothing to suggest that I was going to suffer a long-term concussion. For that week, I had really bad brain fog that would hit me for hours on end, and then started to suffer with severe post-exertion fatigue. And the exertion was minimal. It could be getting up and making some lunch, maybe putting some washing on the line, and then that would be it for hours at a time, hours and hours at a time. I'd have to go to bed, sit in a dark room for 2-3 hours, get some energy, and then try again. And it was in that first and second week that I then experienced the tinnitus and the visual issues, what I would call, or what I've read is called visual snow now. I suffered with extreme dizziness. I was incredibly light sensitive. I had noise sensitivity as well. I didn't feel very confident walking very long distances, and because of the fatigue, I remember really clearly actually, it was absolutely mad. I couldn't walk to the end of the road. I got out of the house, I thought I'd go for a walk, got to the end of the road, and I had such problems with light sensitivity and with fatigue, and also with tracking. The cars were going past and my brain just couldn't track them. They were just felt like they were going too quickly, but my brain just couldn't process it. The first few months were really tough, really tough. And I think the other symptoms I had were psychological. It really hit me, and I suffered with anxiety and depression for the first 3 or 4 months. I think the big turning point was around 3 months. For the first 3 months, the recovery looked quite similar. I would stay in bed for long periods. I would rest a lot after an activity, and I would have all of the symptoms I mentioned earlier. So dizziness, brain fog, tinnitus, light sensitivity, noise sensitivity. But after 3 months, I saw things improve quite significantly. And the main things were the light sensitivity and the noise sensitivity just started to decrease, to lessen. And I think that was really important, because it was a sign that I was improving. And I think that was psychologically so important to know that I was getting better, and just having these small signs every single day. And then after the 3 months, the fatigue then started to improve. And I was quite detailed with my recovery. I would map and track every day, every week, what I had done. I would do the same walk every single day and measure exactly where I got that day, how far I could get the next day. And because it was the same walk, it was really easy for me to say, wow, a month ago I couldn't make it to the end of the park. Now I've got around the end of the park. Now I can walk even further. I can get to university. So I think the fatigue improved after 3 months. And it wasn't linear. There were lots of ups and downs, and I would find it really difficult to identify the cause and effect of the crashes and the brain fog. Um, but yeah, from 3 months onwards, probably for the next 6-9 months, I started to crash once a day, and then it became every other day. And eventually it was 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And then it got to a point where I was feeling ready to return to work. And I was really fortunate that my work was superb, and they gave me a phased return. And Headway were really helpful with that. They were instrumental in speaking to my employers about what a return to work would look like. And once I got back into work, I think that helped with my confidence back into sport and getting back into activities. I was very, very nervous. I was really fortunate to see an amazing physio privately called Becky, who was in Pouring Land at the time, and she was remarkable. And one of the things she said to me was just, you need to do it. You need to get going again. You will not help your symptoms by sitting in the house. And I think that's really difficult, because the main thing you're told with a head injury is to go into a dark room, close the curtains, relax, switch off. And that's, I think, did help me, and it still does help me at times. But then you also need to push yourself. You need to push the boundaries. You need to push that fatigue. You need to push to the point of crashing, and then accept the crashes and go again. And she was instrumental in just getting me out of the house, getting me moving, getting me back on the bike, getting me on a balance pad, getting me walking, even pushing me towards running, which I still feel a bit anxious about. So yeah, it was a bit difficult, and my wife Jess was amazing with that, really pushing me, get outside, get walking, get cycling, do some yoga, do some Pilates, just do something to get the exercise going and the strength going. And I do know some people who have said that exercise has been their vehicle for recovery. That has been the thing they have done. They've accepted that they're going to have significant crashes, but the strength and the energy that they get from it is really important.